Hey everyone, this is George Couros. Welcome back to another solo episode of the Innovator's Mindset podcast. And I'm recording this on June 7th, probably going to publish it very soon after that. And the reason I wanted to share this with you, typically I record these, way ahead of time so I can have a schedule of when podcasts go out. But many of you that listen to this podcast are obviously in the field of education, and you're either on a break or you're about to go on a break. And if you're already on a break, congratulations, good for you. That's awesome. I know some people, especially in my home country of Canada, it's pretty rare somebody in June right now is actually on a break. But I just want to share some insights with you. And as you know, if you've been following me for any length of time, I've really been focusing on my health, especially over the last 5 years. And a lot of people see a huge difference in me physically. I did lose quite a bit of weight, but the biggest change in me is not what you see. It's actually mental and emotional differences that have happened because I've really kind of emphasized taking care of myself. And I know there's science behind this, but I have none to share with you. So I encourage you to look it up. I don't think mental health and physical health are mutually exclusive. There is a connection between the two. And as I got my physical health more in check, my mental health seemed to get better and vice versa. And I don't know which one came first, but it has helped me significantly. So I wanted to share some insights with you, as many of you are about to take a break. And the reason I always very resistant to share the idea of a break, because if you think about professional sports, and this is based on a newsletter, and you can see it down in the link down below. If you think about professional sports, who get paid, way more than teachers, okay? So they have way more time off, but it is actually not seen as a break for them. It is seen as a time to recover. They physically could not play whatever sport they have for 12 months during the year. And it is time to recuperate, to recover, and it is actually seen as essential to what happens the next season. So the way I look at this is that if this isn't just a physical thing, actually education can be extremely physical as well. It can be like overwhelming on the body, but it is also a mental and emotional. And if you see this as like a recovery, a recalibration, it's a very different mentality. And so I think I'm very cognizant of that. I don't want to just say like, people, because this whole like, people get breaks off. Everybody gets time off, by the way, just so you know, in every profession, because it is essential to coming back stronger. And so I wanted to share some insights, some things that I've really kind of helped me to kind of focus on this. And just 3 things. And they're not like, hey, if you do these 3 things, your life will be better. It's just 3 things that have helped me. And I don't like telling people what to do. I just kind of want to share some of the things that have really helped me over the last several years to get better. And the first one is just this point, that it's okay and necessary to take a break. I don't like hypocrites, and this is probably where I'm the most hypocritical. I really advocate the importance of taking breaks. It is extremely hard for me to do it. And I know this is something I really, really struggle with, whether it's from work, whether it's from physical activity. I do like to work out every single day. I do like movement. I think this is connected with, having ADHD. Just the kind of movement is so crucial to me. But I'm really trying to say like, hey, for example, like people have running streaks that go on forever, and that's awesome for them. But it's just not something I would ever do because I know that actually I want to get stronger at running, and to actually get stronger at it, you have to take days off. This is professional athletes do this, right? They kind of walk away from this, and it's the same thing in education. It is absolutely necessary, and I talked about, kind of like how important it is to do this. So a lot of people get really uncomfortable with the time of break, and, a break might not just, I don't think it's just laying on the couch. I don't think it's that. Sometimes for me, when I was teaching, a break was doing another job. And it wasn't like, I didn't find it overwhelming. It was just like, I needed to like not think about education. I need to do something. Sometimes it was a vacation. I remember specifically I went with my brother to visit family in Greece, and I did not want to go. Like, I really struggle with taking time off. I like routine and I struggle. And I'll tell you, I came back so much stronger because of that time. And so I think, there is this kind of guilt in education that like we feel bad because, a lot of families, really depend on school, and I understand that, and it's really hard. I don't think it's good to like brag and like I can't wait to be away from you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But to serve people, you need to take care of yourself. You need to kind of focus on that. I'll get more into that in a second. So I think it's seeing it as a way of not getting away from something, but getting back to yourself so you can give to yourself so that you have the ability to give to others. And I've really kind of focused on this on the last several years. And it's something I talk about a tremendous amount with groups that I work with, that there's like in education, we are so totally immersed in our work when we are at our jobs. And then we go home and we're so totally immersed in our work. And that is something we got to figure out. And so I think it's just good to kind of walk away. If you think about this, even I'm just kind of riffing here, and this is why I like doing these podcasts. Some of the best ideas, there is research behind this, come to people when they go for walks, when they actually, take a shower, because they're actually moving away from the problem. Breaks are necessary, not just for recovery, but for coming back better. Recovery is essential to getting back to being better. The second point I share is this one, is to learn to say no. Again, hard. I want to help as many people as possible. But what I've come to realize is the more people, there's always people that are asking for favors, asking for stuff. And you have to kind of find boundaries and limits to things. I didn't share this in the newsletter, but I'll share it here. I actually, when I was working at central office, I was trying to do everything. I was trying just to be totally immersed in the work that I was doing. And it got to a point, I was helping everybody, that all of a sudden I needed a stress leave. Never saw it coming. And I think that's one of the issues, that you're just so on auto drive. You just keep going and going and going until you break. And it was hard. It was very hard. It was like embarrassing for me too. And I'm comfortable sharing this with you because I know that I think it's important to share, but at the time it felt very embarrassing that I had to take it, but I just couldn't say no to people. I was doing everything when I could not keep up with myself. My health was so horrible at the time. My routines were totally off. And basically when you say no, when you say yes to everything, and to everyone, you often say no to yourself. And I think that's what I really learned through that process. And after, it was probably about a month that I had to take off. And it was like, again, not pre-planned. When I came back, I really was cognizant of trying to help, people within boundaries though. And really thinking about this. And we take on a lot of emotional problems from others too. And in education, you need to learn to say no. And that's something that is really important to me. And basically what I shared in this email, that if you do not learn to say no, you're going to take a break, whether you're ready for one or not. It's going to happen because it's going to be forced upon you, just because it gets to be so overwhelming. So learn to say no to people. And I don't think it's meant to be mean, meant to be disregarding of, helping. You can help a ton of people, but there will always be more people to help. You have to say no, or it will catch up to you. So that's something I learned the hard way. And I hope from that hard lesson, somebody will take that advice and be way more proactive than I was at that time in my career. And so the last one, which is kind of like redundant in the sense that this newsletter is like 3 ideas of taking care of yourself before the break, is just take care of yourself. And it is something I am really thoughtful of. I'm recording this, and I typically record this afternoon. And my schedule is kind of weird, because I travel and speak. And so some days I'm like gone for like weeks at a time, and then I'm home for a certain amount of time. But what I try to do is schedule, and I'm a very routine, You know me, I'm extremely routine. I actually, every morning I go to the gym and I go for, a couple hours. And a lot of people are like, that's, it is meditation for me. When I go for a long run, it's not just a physical thing. It is the, like, just getting my mind off of stuff. I've really been cognizant to not listen to politics because it can be overwhelming. Listen to stuff that is either light, funny, or whatever, because I need that break. The other thing that I do, and this is something that I'm really cognizant of, my phone is on do not disturb 24/7. You cannot call me. You cannot text me. It will not notify me ever. And the reason I share that is because one of the things that I have been so thoughtful of is that my phone never brings me to it. I go to my phone when it makes sense for me. I struggle around people that their phones are pinging all the time. It gives me anxiety. And like every time I'm around somebody, their phone's pinging, I'm like, I'm so grateful I started doing this years ago. And it has helped myself so much better. And what I've learned is taking that time every single day to exercise, to get like really sweaty, push myself. It helps me throughout the rest of the day because I feel like I've really pushed myself and had some stress, that everything else going along the day becomes better. I also schedule time to read, and not like hours and hours of time, but like 10 minutes a day. Just taking 10 minutes, just sit in silence, just read, whether it's a physical book, whether it's Kindle, just taking that time. I find as I get older, I really like silence away a lot more than I used to. And, some of you are listening, you're like, it is impossible for me to do this. I can't do it. And I would actually disagree. And the reason I say this is because if you are working for someone and they schedule a time for you, you will probably be on time, if not early. And you really keep to those. When it's about others, we keep our schedules. We honor that. But when it's ourselves, we kind of break those schedules. And I think it's basically saying like, I don't have it physically written on a calendar, but I could. But those calendar times, those are sacred to me. You cannot disturb that time. That is my time. And what it does is it allows me to really, again, help others. I think this is the whole, like a lot of people think this whole taking care of yourself is very selfish. I would actually say it's selfless. It is putting me in a position to be better to others, to be more thoughtful of how I respond to them, to give myself, and really be present in the spot that I am. And I think that is something that matters to me. I'm not gonna lie, I want to live as long as possible, right? Especially like 50, you're like, okay, I'm on the other side. I don't know if I'm getting 100. I'm on the other side. I want to be around as long as possible, but I don't want to have, 50 more years where I'm exhausted all the time and just miserable with my situation, my life. I would rather take really good care of myself so that the time I do spend with my family, with my friends, is better time than skip those times where I take care of myself and I'm miserable or I feel sluggish and I feel horrible. It is not, for me, it is not quantity of time as much as it is quality of time. And that's why you got to really kind of schedule these blocks. And you don't have to do it the way I do. I do distance training. And the only way you get better is if you put in time, right? It is really hard. If it's 20 minutes of exercise, if it's 10 minutes reading a book, and really kind of take care of yourself. The other thing too, and this is where I got really, really good at in basically in the last 5 years, is what you consume matters. I really am thoughtful of what I eat, and not 100% of the time. Like, it's not like I don't ever have pizza or bag of chips. I love chips. If I could be a chip critic, that'd be like my dream job, but I don't think I could do it because I couldn't stop. But also what you consume and who you surround yourself with. I think a lot of times about social media, I don't really connect with people that go on there and complain and whine about stuff. And I think, it's like, well, do you want to go in a staff room that's like that? So I spend a lot of my time in my career, being honest with you, skipping the staff room because I felt that was there quite a bit. When I was a principal and vice principal, I ensured that I was in the staff room. So that wasn't that space, to make sure that this was a place where people left feeling energized, not, walking out and like hating people. So just be thoughtful of what you consume as well. When I talk about taking care of yourself, it's not just about that time. It's actually what goes into you. That's why I talked about, like, I make time to listen to politics. I make time to, follow stuff in education, but I am very thoughtful. Like, hey, I need energy right now. I don't want to get into like what's going on in politics. I don't want to like go on social media and go follow who's complaining about what, because it doesn't help me long-term, help others. So I think that's where I'm trying to really focus on this. How you take care of yourself really, really matters. And so I share this all with you. And this is the reason I actually posted this in the first place. I wanted to share these insights with you because when I decided to write this newsletter, it was because I was overwhelmed. I was caught up. And this is actually based on a blog post I had written years ago. And I wanted to like just kind of revisit it and read it. It's one of the things I love about writing and writing in a public space. Sometimes I actually go back and read my own stuff as a reminder, like, hey, you need to get back on track. I was being so overwhelmed, so exhausted. I'm like, what have I done in the past that has helped me? So I knew that this helped me. So I wanted to reshare it with all of you, just in case somebody needs it, right? Kind of going into the space. So again, the 3 points I share, it's okay and necessary to take a break. Okay. Don't feel guilty about it. Everyone does it. Everyone needs it. That's how you actually get better. The second one is learn to say no. Set boundaries in your life or it's going to catch up. And then the last one is just take care of yourself. Think about what you consume. Think about how you schedule your time and keep that time sacred, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your family. I think that is really, really beneficial. So I want to share this with you because I needed to share it with myself. And typically when I do that, I know somebody out there needs it because I know I need it at the time. So I hope this helps someone. Thanks for spending your time with me. Thanks for doing this. I hope in some way this helped you. Maybe you're listening to this on a run. If you are, go run. Good job. Maybe you're listening while you exercise. Good job for you. Take care of yourself because we need you. Thanks for all you do. Take care.